The tree in this video is a privet ovavolium. I got the tree in 2022. I bought it off my good friend Glyn at the Doncaster Bonsai boot sale. I made a selection of the branches. Then I carved and hollowed the stump. I choose to hollow it, as I think it suits a deciduous tree better. Then I wired the tree for its first shaping. Unfortunately, I haven't got any video from this work.
Hello, welcome to another episode. Today we're going to work on the privet. I had this privet for about 2-3 years, and since then I've repotted it, did a bit of carving on it, so you'll see later here there's a big hollow in there, and did some first styling on it as well. And then I just, as you can see, it just gone a bit wild this year, so I haven't touched it at all. So this is kind of the growth getting on it, so it's nearly well over a meter on there, and we'll get some really good thick branches on there then. Now as well, when you let them grow this well, calluses will occur, so callus will start growing over, even if you don't let them grow so well. If you prune them a lot more often, the callus tend not to grow that fast. So when you have some cut to heal up, or if you got some carving done and you want it to look a bit nicer, then yeah, just let it grow, and then the callus will just heal a lot quicker that way. Especially when it's in development, it doesn't really matter. So all helps. So we're just gonna cut it back now, cut it back hard, and see if any branches need wiring down. Because of course, as a plant, you just want to grow upwards. It'll become another bush basically. So what we want is just to get the branches right in position into nice little paths really. So you can see there's a half decent branch structure there, but everything starts to just go up again, because they want to go up to the light. So we have to just kind of point them down again, and then prune them, and then everything starts to grow up again, of course, but then we have to point them down again. Ongoing job. So privets are actually native to Japan, and there's a lot of different varieties available. But yeah, so cut them back to 2 pairs. So you see little pairs over there, but we want to cut them back to 4. So the first small ones we don't count, but just gonna count 1, 2 pairs, and we do that all over the tree, and then we can see some more tree really. You can see here, so junction start over here, and then we've got 2 small ones, normal size ones, and then another one. So it's 1, 2 basically. Again here, we just got to snip that off. We got small ones, 1, 2. This one goes a little bit higher, but still a note there, so I'm gonna prune it right there. Privets are really easy plants. You can take a lot of cuttings from them as well. They're really easy with cutting. So if you got something like this, so you got a nice little size trunk on there, so you can cut that back, and then you can cut that back as well. You already got a few little twigs on there, which could be a nice little tree in the future. So just put it in some soil, and then just wait. Yeah, just wait really. 9 out of 10 they'll take. So if you see a nice little branch, something like that, even in your hedge, you can just cut it off, put it in some soil, just bury it quite deep like that, and then you just have a nice little tree. So from a lot of things we're gonna have there, we can have maybe 10 little starter trees out of that. But yeah, that's something you can do, just a little bit of propagation. I actually have a it will come up in another video, a privet cutting, which is actually this big. So I just chopped it off about somewhere in the top, because I'm going to cut it off anyway from the tree. So I chopped it off, buried it, and now it's got a really nice root flare, and that's about 4 years now. So it's gone really quick. Over here we got some yellow leaves, but because they just have been a little bit in the shade, so but that's just nothing to worry about really. Just clean the dead stumps off. So I've got another one over there. So this size branches, you can bend them with privet, but you might damage the bark, so we have to be quite careful with that. So if anything just comes over that kind of size, it just gets a little bit hard to bend. What I said, you can do it, but you might damage the bark and you might lose the branch altogether. So the best thing is to do just to wire them when they're relatively small, and then you can put some right shape into them. So I let this one go just a little bit too much, so I could have just stepped in, do some work, maybe in the beginning of the year, and just place that properly. But now I have to it just becomes a little bit harder for me now. You can also break the branches, not on purposely. So you kind of break it, and then if it's not all the way through, then it kind of heals over, and then it just kind of stays into place. I'll just show you here. So this one has been broken last year, I think, when I first wired it, and now it's kind of healed over, and it just got a good strength to it. So yeah, so that's another thing you can do to to manipulate the branches. As you can see here, you've got another division of branches, so if you want to, you could just choose to just prune this one out and then keep them two there, so then you got a nicer taper in the branches, so it just goes from thick to thin. But otherwise you could just prune them off, and then that one goes from that to that. But the taper in it, the difference in it is just a little bit. It does taper, but very small. So this one's would be a nicer taper that way. There we go. Because privets are widely available as hedging plants, and be widely used for hedging. They're been used for hedging just because they just thicken up really quick. They get really nice and dense, what you actually want in a hedge. So because they're so widely available, we can there are a lot of privet bonsai around as well. So people just got them from hedges being dug up and stuff like that. So they're just really good, versatile material. They lend them to all kinds of styles. And they're very forgiving, so if you're a beginner, the privet is definitely should be on your bucket list to get, as they grow fast, they're really forgiving. You can repot them almost any time of the year if you really want to, especially if you want to collect them from a hedge or something. Then you can do. They might soak for a little bit, but the ones that I got, 9 out of 10, they just always come through. So definitely worth a go. If you find a privet anywhere for sale, buy it. As you can see, what I've done in only 2-year time. Yeah, just a bit of wiring, and the rest is growing basically. So you already got a real nice ramification here, nice density. Of course, it could be a lot denser if I would just prune it every time kind of the branch extends. So every time kind of the branch extends, if I said over here is the trunk, every time it extends I could just prune it back to 2 every time. So if it comes to like 4 leaves, prune it back to 2. You could do that mostly every month almost. So almost in a year you can get really dense foliage. But what you have to keep considering is that you need a good structure as well, and good decent proportioned branches. So if you've got a really thick trunk, you're gonna need some really thick branches on there. So even that, it looks, the tree looks okay, like the silhouette, but if you look at the branches there, it looks very young. So what we want in bonsai, we want to have a tree to look really old. So if there's really young branches on there, it doesn't really match with the age or with the story you're gonna tell. So that's why we want to grow big branches as well, and that's why bonsai really takes a long time, because you want all these elements just right, so the tree looks old. So if the tree looks really young underneath, it's just not, yeah, it doesn't really match it. Just because it got nice top on it doesn't mean it's an old tree. So once you look underneath the tree and look at the branch structure, then you can say, oh yeah, this is a really old tree. So I've got some little small bits there I can't take off. See it? So again here we just got a division there, so just 3 in one place, so we don't really want that because they just get too ugly later on. So we're just going to prune the middle one out so it looks a bit nicer. That one comes out. So I've got one lower below here. one in there. As you can see here, we've got some lovely deadwood there. This got just back to its natural colour really. I'll just put some Kaizen's deadwood preserver on, natural deadwood preserver. So it just preserves the wood, but it doesn't stain it white like lime sulphur. So you get a natural look on there, and it's kept quite hard as well. So it's just been outside, been watered as well. So it's been quite good for us. Normally with softwood type of trees, the wood is a lot more delicate, a lot softer, and after a couple of years, 2 to 5 years, it starts to decay bit by bit. And I've got another privet in the garden. I'll show you some pictures of. I had that for about 14 years now, and that I had some lovely pieces of carving done on it, of the stumps, but then gradually year after year it just gets smaller and smaller, and now they're hollows. So that's the kind of time frame you have to be looking at. About 10 years time, that might not be here, but you have to really just do a really good job on preserving it, not watering it too much. Don't make sure there's not you don't water it when you water your trees, so only water the soil, keep out of the rain and stuff like that. So that's all the things you can do to maximize the longevity of your deadwood really. So as you can see here, some lovely colours just appearing, even like in there, some lovely colours coming up. So where we can't see much colours, we just want to get a little knife there, and then just kind of reopen that again. So when we reopen that, it just becomes a bit more active. So then the tree goes, oh, I have to make some colours there, or I have to grow something there. So just gonna be more active there. So yeah, we've got some little edges around here we just carved in the past. We just want to check if that's still alive. Yes, it is. Just but sometimes it just the tree decides, oh, we're gonna put more strength on, for example, for this kind of site, so that just the life ring kind of can go in a different direction. So if the tree doesn't need this life lane anymore, because it's gonna flow right down that way, and that branch might get flow from this side as well. We might decide to just throw away all of this eventually, but it's all still alive. So bit by bit we can scrape away what we got. So I kept it this way, so it just creates a nice interesting line. But of course, if you whatever taste you have, you can just make it a lot bigger to that. So you can see already here, see a little bit of a bulge there. So this is definitely a good live vein. Some little bulges all there, so just going up to the bigger branches there at the top. So maybe in the future we can just lose all of this here, but I don't want to go that far just yet. So but it's maybe something for the future, or the new owner perhaps, who wants to make more deadwood on it. That's possible then. So once you make deadwood on a tree, you can't make it live again, so then you have to deal with the preservative and preserve the deadwood and stuff. So yeah, if the tree lends it to it to make it more to stand out more, to make the tree better, then yeah, I will do that. But for now, this is quite a nice feature. It's actually the back, so this will make a nice feature of for the tree. It actually is the back of the tree. So this is my front, You got some nice roots on either side. That one just flows nicely there, but on that side you just not so much. So it's just been put in here last 2 years ago. Gonna have a proper repot this spring, so we're gonna see if there's anything underneath there where we can just kind of lay flat. We just bring it to the surface so we can have a bit of a better barrier on there. So every time we repot a tree, we're trying to just, the same as the branches, we're gonna look what we don't want and what we do want. So any small roots what can grow into the right space, we're gonna keep them, we're gonna encourage them, and in time even a small little 1 mil root can just grow out to be like that in just a couple of years. So yeah, it's just all about progress. So we just it's not about what we're doing today, how it looks today, but how we're gonna, the things we do today, we're gonna change it in the future. That's bonsai all about. So it's not how it looks on today, but how it looks in 5-10 years time, when we have that, our vision of a mature bonsai in our mind. So that's why we kind of go towards to that kind of image. So now we're just gonna see what kind of branch we're gonna wire and just make it a bit neater, and then hopefully I can sell it to somebody else who wants to take it on and make it better. So now I've got that branch. For my feeling, it just goes too far into the tree, so it's going to be shaded out. So that's why it hadn't really grown much. It grown a little bit, but comparing to the other ones here on top, it has grown loads. So I wanted to thicken this one up really, but I haven't really paid attention to that one. So if I wired that one like this one, it could have been a better branch, but just a little bit neglect from my end. So just gonna pop this out into the light a little bit more, so that will grow a lot better next year. So I'm just gonna put a little wire on that. So we got 2, 3. Just go for 3 mil, nice and thick. So I'm going to anchor it around here. So we've got a nice dropping branch there. We've got the back branch here, we just have to sort out. So this one just going straight up. I could decide to just cut the top one off, or cut the bottom one off and then use the bottom one to go from one to another one, to 1 to 2 then, or we can just use both of them, manipulate them a little bit, and then we got going from 1 to 2 to 4. So it's gonna be a lot more branch structure on there. So we're gonna go for that. Just gonna that one out of the way. Don't what down there. So it can come off. So again, we just need something half decent on there because it's quite, the branches are quite thick. So if the wire is not thick enough, it just is not gonna set well. So you can just decide to put another one on, but 2 and 2 doesn't make 4 in bonsai world, so it's still gonna be not strong enough. So the best thing is to do, cut the wire off and then put a 3mm wire on, or 3.5mm wire on. It's gonna be too short, so come on. Now we're gonna wire these branches here. So we're gonna do it with one wire. So we're gonna want to go kind of all the way up there, and then all the way to this side here. So we're gonna see how much you kind of need. So we're gonna measure the length, and then normally just put the length plus half of it, half the length, more or less. You can always do a little bit more. You're not really wasting, well, I can't say you're wasting any wire, but just so much, it's just not it's not that much really, that little. Support it all the way. Round. Try not to trap any leaves. It doesn't really matter if you do, but it just make, when you trap them, they just they stop growing really, so they just die off. But it's not. So we've got now 2 wired. You don't really have to wire everything, so anything that just points up, you might have to just put one on there. I'm just gonna bend this, so we're gonna spread out a little bit more. This is becoming one part now. That's it. So I need another one on there, just a little one. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna combine that one with that one. That one is already nicely in position, so we don't really need to wire that one, just for the sake of it. We're just gonna leave that alone. So again, just go over the top. Okay. Get rid of that one, about there. just gonna hold it here, gonna guide the wire with our finger around the branch here, around it, and then we'll finish the wire going up. So it just kind of supports the wire underneath, and you can just kind of tip it up so it's gonna grow to the light. So I'm gonna do the next one. You can prune all the leaves off if you want as well, to make it a bit easier, so easy for yourself to see. Because they grow back really quick. Not in the winter time, so if you prune them off now, they will come back in the spring. So put a little movement on there on that branch. Now that one will go down and out, so it's a little movement in there as well. Try to get some that bit closer to that. Again and out. That one goes a bit more down. There we go. So we've got a nice little pad there now. Don't know if you can see it. There we go. And that one in the back, it's quite thick, so I'm not gonna wire that. It's quite okay how it is, so we're gonna leave that alone for now. So we've got this really thick one, so we're gonna put some big wire on there. So 3.5, not big enough. That's 4 in there. So we're gonna go for 4mm wire. That should do the trick. I'm gonna run it across there, so we're gonna put a little bit of movement on them as well. That's short. So go like that and that. So once the direction of the branch we want to just go kind of this way. So we're gonna have to think about how we're gonna wire that. So we're gonna wire from this side here. So that goes around there. So when you come to the end, especially with thicker wires, it just gets really hard to bend a little piece like that. So what you can do is just get gym pliers, and then you can bend it around the branch basically. There we go, without damaging it. The other way you can do it is just leave measure a longer piece of wire out, so then you can just hold one piece in your hand like that, so you get more leverage to just bend it around the branch basically. So now we're going to bend it. So where we're going to bend it is right there on the other side of the wire, because the wire is going to support it there. If we're going to bend it right there, it's going to break because it's not supporting there. So that's something to keep in mind. Also, I'm twisting it a little bit, so that just makes all the fibers just kind of twist, so it makes it kind of spreads the load a little bit, instead of if you're just gonna bend it like that, the fiber is just gonna go this way. But if you bend it, it just kind of stay the same. So it went from all the way up there all the way down here now. There we go. So now this one here, what can I do with that? So now instead of just going straight upwards, now I've twisted the branch, and now they will come nice and flat. So just got them two there. You can just very picky with that really. Okay, nice thick wire, it's about 2.5 mil. You just kind of combine two branches with one wire. There we go. So it's nice and flat now, both of them. These ones I won't bother with it now. Maybe next year we can just do something with that. So I just have a nice little flow around there. So we can see it already, it's quite nice. So these are the back branches basically. So what we got here, well, lots of small stuff. So if that takes that. It just needs a little bigger one. In doubt, if it's not strong enough, just go a size higher. So all the aluminium sizes, or for the Americans out there, aluminum, they all go in half millimeters. So it's 1.5 to 2.5, and so forth, up to 5 mil. I always want the branches just to go outwards basically. So I just want to go out towards the sun. So any branches going straight back into the tree. It does happen with trees because these are quite young trees, but eventually they will die off because there's no light in there, so it's kind of unnatural for a branch to grow in that kind of direction. So I want to eliminate that, so all the branches should come out and fan out in that kind of way. Okay there. So that doesn't need any wiring because it's just already pointing in the right direction. The more branches you wire, the more you can style the tree, basically, how more you can shape it. But in the end, when you've got a tree in development like this, you have to prune it off quite quickly as well. So about when it starts growing in the springtime, about around May time, so let's say May time. So it had about, if we have a good spring, then we have March and have April to grow the tree. So by the end of April, it might just be able to take the wire off already because it start to dig in. So so you have to take it off, and you might have to just rewire it again during the season. So nice little branch there. So just have to get a big one on there to bend that down in position. So the best time now to wire this is in the autumn. Now everything you can see outside, all the leaves will start turning different color. So this is now the time we can work on our trees with having the longest time to have the wire on the branch. So for example, if we're going to wire in mid-season when the tree is still growing, the wire can stay on a lot less longer because the tree is growing, so it's expanding, so the wire will grow into the bark, which we don't want, so you get ugliness. You've got a few little scars here and there from previous wiring that I've done. So you get scars on there, so we don't really want to see that because it just looks a bit ugly. So yeah, we'll wire the tree now, because it's still growing, but not making huge extensions anymore now this time of year. So this is the perfect time to put some wire on, because it can stay on for, what's that, we got still a little bit of September left, October, September, October, November, December, January, February. So it's 6 months where the wire can stay on, instead of, if we're gonna wire it, so we just, for example, we'll wire it now, it has to come off in end of April. We can wire it again then, but when we wire it in April, end of April, it can maybe only stay on for 1 or 2 months before we have to take it off again, and the possibility of scarring in it will occur a lot quicker, because the tree grows quicker. It happens quicker. So this is the optimum time for wiring trees, any trees really, pines, junipers, deciduous trees. So the wire on here doesn't do anything for this branch here, but we need to anchor it to one branch, otherwise this is gonna be very floppy. There we go. So I've got a nice little pad up here, a little bit lower there, and another bit lower there. So altogether makes a nice dense padding. So it doesn't have to be completely flat. So like, well, first branch, everything is in one direction. So some of the extensions will just be a little bit higher, some will be a little bit lower, and that will just create a nice density in there. Then on top of these, where we've got them, in time we're gonna have small little more branches coming on there, and then eventually in a couple of years time it's gonna be the pad itself gonna be kind of this kind of big. So but then we have like 3 or 4 extra divisions on there, what makes it really nice and twiggy. So when all the leaves are off in the winter, we can see a lot of twigging there, a lot of branches, and that will show off how old the tree actually is. Instead of just having a bush with leaves, it could be 10 years old, could be 20 years old, could be 50. I hope you liked the video. If you want to see more, please subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Well, this is the end result. I'm pretty happy with it. Deciduous trees are not so nice to photograph and to film, but yeah, hopefully in the future we'll have some more twigging on it, so it'll be even better. But yeah, if you can look through it when we go around it, it's yeah, we've got a lot of twigging on there, so it'll be a nice tree in the summer as well. And then with years to come, we can build on this ramification to make it even better. So I want to just let the bottom ones grow a little bit more this year, just to extend that a little bit more, and then just focus on the top to keep that more tighter really. I just want to thicken the bottom ones up a little bit more. And then Gonna have a look for a pot, just a little bit narrow, a bit like that, something like that. So it's not too small, but always not too big. So if I do want to move the tree on, it just will look a lot better as well. Instead of a plastic pot, even the plastic pot is better for growing. At some point I do have to sell some trees to have a little bit of income and pay for the videos and stuff. So yeah, you just have a little compromise of versus growing really well or growing okay, but it's still be able to sell it if I wanted to. So that's what we're gonna do over the winter time. We're just gonna we're gonna go visit a couple shows, Swindon, Belgium, the Trophy. So we've got plenty of pot makers there to choose from. So we're gonna have a look, take our measurements, what we want, and then we can go from there really. Right, hope you enjoyed the video, and hope to see you next time. Bye bye.